Right, so it's fair to say that the Apple Unleashed event delivered on all fronts, but there was one missing product that we were expecting, and that was the M1 Pro / Max Mac Mini. And so let's speculate why we did not see it, and exactly when we should expect them to release. But first, make sure to like and subscribe for the latest Apple news and rumours, and with that being said, let's just tuck in. Right, so the main reason why we did not see a Mac Mini, in my opinion, is pretty simple, and that is there is a chip shortage, and Apple wants to, of course, prioritize the products that sell first. Now, yes, I know that Apple's been handling the chip shortage better than other companies, but they are still facing limitations, and it's quite apparent. For example, with the iPhone 13 series, the delivery times are still very long, and that's quite surprising because they are now a month old, and usually this is when the delivery times get a lot shorter. But of course, as Bloomberg reported, Apple's apparently had to cut 10 million iPhone shipments because of this component shortage, and so clearly they're being affected massively by this. But of course, coming to the Macs, one thing I immediately noticed with the M1 Pro and the M1 Max chip is that there's so many variations of these chips because Apple's basically using every binned version possible and maximizing the yield rate. Since of course many of you guys know that yield rates for chips are extremely low, but especially right now during this chip shortage, they're pretty bad, and so Apple's basically maximizing all their resources and giving us as many variations of these chips. And so yes, I do think this hints at Apple not having enough chips to release multiple versions of these Pro and Macs. And well, they did the smart thing by releasing the MacBook Pros first, since they're undoubtedly the biggest seller for Apple, and then of course, once they sort out the supply issues, they can shift their focus to the Mac Mini. Now, many of you guys have asked me if there's a chance we could see the Mac Mini launch later this year, and to be honest, I think it's pretty unlikely because there's no point Apple delaying the Mac Mini for a November release, since it's only 30 days, and that does not make a massive difference in the grand scheme of things. And I also don't see a press release happening at the end of the year, so yes, if Apple was planning to give us a 2021 release for this new Mac Mini, they would have launched it at this October event and then give us a release date later this year if there were any delays, much like they did with the Apple Watch Series 7. Now, Ross Young says the bigger iMac is going to be launching in Q1 2022, so I think we could see a spring event, and alongside the bigger iMac, I could see Apple also launching this Mac Mini because they should be sharing the same M1 Pro and M1 Max chip. And by the way, a source did tell me that the Mac Minis entered the EVT stage in September. Now do note, the EVT stage is the engineering validation test. This happens before mass production, and so of course, there was a very small chance we were going to see this Mac Mini launch at the October event. And by the way, a few things, the source did tell me this info in September, not today, so of course, they had no idea about what was being unveiled at the October event at that period of time. And also do remember in the Quanta hack, we did see the MacBook Pros enter the EVT stage back in April, and they just released. So yes, the Mac Mini being in the EVT stage in September does line up with a spring release. As for other features, obviously we know it's going to have the same identical specs we see with these new MacBooks, and also do remember it's going to have a new design that should have plexiglass on the top for better Bluetooth, and also the same power connector we have on the iMac. And I'm hopeful the price does not increase with the Mac Mini because unlike the MacBooks, which of course went up in price because of promotion, the new design and a ton of changes, I don't think we're going to see a similar price hike with the Mac Mini, so it should be the same $1,100 starting price we see with the current version. Anyways, that's about it. Tell me in the comments below, guys, are you looking forward to this new Mac Mini with the M1 Pro and the M1 Max? Anyways, thank you for watching, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe for the latest Apple news and rumors. Check out the video in the link above on details regarding iPhone 14, and on that note, I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya, peeps.